Welcome to Gasper's TTM. As I just drop the laptop and shake the camera, we're not in California. This is not an earthquake. Anyway, yes, Gasper TTM. My own little corner of YouTube, where likely no one watches this. But if you do, if you've come here to seek uh, advice or guidance or suggestions on how to get started, it's a great part of the hobby. Getting your cards signed through the mail by the players or entertainers or whomever is on the card. I have it sent back to you via U.S. mail uh, for a very low cost, frankly. But you don't know quite how to jump into it. The basics. I will. I have written myself a list of like things to talk about. So I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm trying to keep it in the 15-minute range. Maybe I'll do a couple of basics, but um, so I've made myself some notes. What is TTM? First one. TTM stands for through the mail. It is taking a card like this Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers card, um, and saying by itself, Jim Harbaugh with the Charger with him laughing and yucking it up with his teammates with his helmet under his hands. Probably not a card people are wanting to collect. Probably just, um, I mean, I know he's the Michigan coach and all that. So if you're a Youper or whatnot, maybe you want a Jim Harbaugh card. But he played with three different teams, and it's for all intents and purposes. I mean, I don't know, what, 50 cents a quarter. Not something you're going to highlight, but if you get the guy to sign it, it's very personal. You send it off. You address the envelope. You write the letter. You buy the stamps. You drive to the post office. Dump it in the post office. You wait. Um, Wait for who knows how long. You surrender your property to the whims of interstate commerce. I mean, well, who knows? Letter could fall off the truck and end up in a landfill or in a creek. Could fall behind a machine at the sorting facility. You could get all delivered to Ann Arbor, and some intern in the athletic department, uh, you know, steps on it and breaks, and ruins the card and decides to chunk it instead of giving it to the coach to sign. There's any number of things that can go wrong. Um, but really, it's amazing the rate of return you get with these. Um, a lot, most people hover around, 70 to 75% return rate. Mine's lower because I take chances. I send cards off to addresses that have been used in years, or players that haven't signed in years. And with that being said, like I said, it's a personal endeavor. And then when you get this back in the mail, you open it up. You don't know who is sending something back. It's a present. It's daily Christmas. The player or the coach or whomever took the time to open your letter, presumably read your letter. Um, you ask, can you give me your time and effort? Not a lot of effort, but certainly opening up a letter, signing a card, signing multiple cards, putting it back in an envelope. This is time that the person could be spend watching TV or reading a book or going on a bike ride or sitting at a bar. I mean, who knows? They're giving you, you've asked for, and they're giving you their time to personalize. Well, when I say personalize, not like to Brent, but some of them do that, but to to uh, to send it back to you, like they have. It communicated with you. It's a form of written communication. Jim Harbaugh has held this in his hand, read my letter. It's a personal validation that you reached out to a person, um, and got his signature. He sent it back to you, and it's a nice little conversation piece. It looks great in an album. If you are a capitalist, then certainly, getting uh, signed cards, signed Nolan Ryan card or signed Reggie Jackson rookie is going to carry a significant value. They are not cheap, but if you're adding value to an object that it didn't have before, You took the effort to add the value. But anyway, I don't. I sell cards occasionally, but not very often. Um, I'd like to. I just like to do it, like the process of doing it and getting it back in the mail. So that's through the mail. But you're like, okay, great. I got a stack of cards here. I don't know. Would I just like drop them in the mailbox? Well, no. What you do is you will need to find an address where to send it. And in the olden days, I remember my very first TTMs were in the '80s. There was a newsprint style collecting magazine called Sports Collectors Digest. I don't know if they're still in existence as an entity today or not, um, but they would have its back a little section of here's some new addresses of some folks, or you just send it to the ballpark. Um, and I got a handful like that. I remember I received cards back from Andre Dawson, from Mike Scott, from Tom Browning. May he rest in peace. Though, and that just you just send a letter and they would send it back. But nowadays, we're a little more advanced than that. There are a number of websites that cater to this. The one that I use is called sportscardforum.com. It's not just for TTM, but it has a TTM spot, and my guess is most people use it for that. It is an online database, searchable by sport, by name. Um, it's very old school tech, man. It looks like circa 2004. Um, and, but it's free. Its address database is really, really good. Um, I've used it for now 4+ years. I've got over 5,500 returns from this website. I've added my own addresses that I've come across. It's it really is. It's user based. So there's that. Also, there's a guy that I know that runs a sports card store in the area. Uses a site called Star Tiger. I believe it's a pay service. I've looked at it before. I can't really comment on it. I just don't know. It may be really, really great. Maybe more user friendly. I don't know. I'm an old guy stuck in his ways, and I'm just sports cards form will work for me. That's what I'm going to use. I also think that there's another one out, sports card, sports collectors net, or I think there's another one out there that's a pay. I think it's like $15 for the year, which would be a great bargain. Again, I can comment to that. I don't know if it's any good or not. I can only assume it is. People that have commented on it on Facebook say it's very good. So knock yourself out, man. Try them all. Uh, but if you want to track any of or verify any of my scores, they will be on sportscardforum.com under my handle is RGGEDGLORY. You will find me in the top 5 of the leaderboard all time already uh, because I send out tons. That's what I kind of do in my spare time. Um, anyway, so TTM, why I love it. My own TTM history, starting out the basics. So yeah, you're gonna want you found the addresses. You want to send it to Daryl Johnston of the Cowboys, former fullback for those championship teams. Now isn't he a common commentator on TV? You say, well, okay, well, I'm going to go to Sports Card Forum. I found his address. Daryl's a pretty good signer. Has a really great signature. Look at that. Signs with his number, lots of flair, lots of furls. Um, then you write a letter. You get a pencil, paper, or more likely a keyboard. Get an envelope, such as full size envelope like this. This is going up to Greg Landry, former. This is I address it. You write a letter, any kind of letter you want. This is what I wrote. Write your own. I'm not going to tell you what I wrote. But I write it on the computer. I usually hand hand sign and put, dear Mr. Landry on there in my own handwriting. Um, you make it a little more personable, but again, I do send out a lot, so I just can't, uh, I can't personalize that much, or my hand will fall off. I don't have time for that. So, write a letter, get some stamps, get, a smaller sized envelope to stick inside the other envelope with your letter, and you put it in with your card. Pretend that Daryl hasn't already signed this. Pro tip: I like to put my card in with a penny sleeve on top, but not inside, because it has happened where usually it's the older folks will take out your card and just sign. They sign the penny sleeves. You pull it out, and like, well, I got a really valuable penny sleeve signed by Billy Williams, which happens, um, but the card untouched. So I like to make sure that they realize that there's two separate things. And then I hope that they return it inside the penny sleeve. Doesn't always happen. Another method I use is for team cards or cards that are already signed or that are going to someone with significantly advanced age. Is I like to put them in a card saver. The reason for this is it's very clearly not going to be confused with the penny sleeve. You have to open it, but it's a card saver. It's a lot easier for them to open at an advanced stage, maybe with like motor skills deterioration. A lot easier, as you probably know, than something like this with these top letters. These are just pains in the rear to open. They protect really well, but for the pro tip, they're so thick they sometimes do not want to go through the mail sorter. So that causes some problems, especially if you've got more than one of these. You'll get them sent back for being too bulky to go through the sorter. Don't have as much problem with the card saver. So try to avoid these if possible, unless you've just got something that you really want protected. That's great. Put multiple stamps on it though, to make sure. So anyway, so you got your letter, you got your self-addressed stamped envelope. Again, envelope, put a stamp on it, put your name here. Also put your name here. Right? Don't put the ball player's name here or the entertainer's name here. Put your name here. So when they drop this in the mail, if it's, I don't know, lost or ripped, or they don't think there's enough postage, they're going to send it back to where it came from. And, well, it came from the same place. This is what people do. So I've never had an issue with if something comes back and says needs more postage, I'll just pay more postage. So um, another pro tip: go to Amazon and get one of these stampers, custom made address stampers. Cost like $8 if you're gonna do these in bulk. If you're doing them just a handful, I mean, you could write out your name, not a big deal. But if you're gonna do them in bulk like I do them, that's gonna save you a lot of time. Just to simply run it like that. That's the sound effect you hear, just like that. So you mail it off, and then you wait. And you wait. Usually a minimum of 10 days. It's got to get there, be delivered, probably over a weekend at least, to sit um, somewhere, either at a facility or if they mail it back in a post office box. It's going to sit, and they don't get to it just immediately. Some guys do. Some guys will turn it around so fast it'll make your head spin. Um, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them like to accumulate multiple envelope. I got 10 people for these letters. I'm just going to throw them on my table, and then I'm going to do them all on Sunday, or something like that, or I'll do them all once a month. Hold on real quick. Oh, sorry about that. My wife came in the room, and the dogs were about to start barking, so I don't want to subject you to that. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so they signs. Sometimes they'll sign once a month, once every 6 months. Some guys will sign once a year, and you'll see on the returns. Recently, Jason Veritek just dumped, I don't know how many months worth of returns back in the mail, and so everyone started hitting, on the site I go to, just Veritek came back because you log. can log when you mail it, when it returns. Those are what makes that site really valuable, or any of the sites, is not just the address, but you can see the history of how often how often they sign, how many cards they will sign. If you send them three, will they only send back one? What the charge is, if there's anything, what type of cards, XYZ doesn't sign Fleer cards or something. I don't know. But anyway, so they do that. They sometimes will send them, and you just wait. Patience is just what you got to do, man. Um, these things take time, and sometimes you think, well, it's been a year. That is lost. That thing is lost. That is worm food, man. And then it shows up. I had one earlier this week. I can't remember who it was. It had been 700 days. And you're like, wow, where was this thing sitting? Like, was it in a junk drawer? They're moving houses, they're cleaning out their stuff, and he's like, oh, look at this, it's a letter. I guess I'll send it back. Maybe, I don't know. Was it in the back of a closet or under a floorboard of a car? Possibly. But anyway, yeah, I always wonder. I get these back like hundreds of days later. And some of them, on these websites, you'll see some people like 5 years later. This is just ridiculous, but it's kind of also kind of fun. Like you're getting a present back in the mail that you mailed away years and years and years ago and completely forgot about. So anyway, oh, another thing. Here's another tip. Multiple cards. Clearly, if you send one card, it's going to cost you a stamp, two stamps, two envelopes. Kind of, you can cut into the overall cost. But if you send three cards, four cards, five cards, well, what's too much? I usually try to do between two and three cards. One card I will do. I mean, sure, if I just got it right here, I might as well just send it off. But if I feel like I can bulk them up a little bit, get two cards back, get three cards back, that's usually not too big of an ask. Most guys will do two or three. Four, some guys will. And if you look at the websites, you can see which guys are or ladies for that matter, are more likely to sign everything you got. Like Jay Bell. Jay Bell, former shortstop for the Pirates and the Diamondbacks. You could send him a phone book and ask him to sign every page. He probably would. He's great like that. Great. Also very quick signer. He just signs as much as you want. But, ask yourself, do you need 8 signed J Bell cards? Like, maybe you do. I don't know. But when you get up to the four and the fives, you're asking a lot. That's a lot of time. It's, probably 5, 6, 7 minutes of a person's day that they're going to spend signing your cards, putting them back in the envelopes, and, maybe not that much time, but, it adds up. If you got 10 requests and each person wants 5 cards signed, you do the math. That is a chunk of time that this player is dedicating to fulfilling these requests. So just trying to send what you really want signed, and don't overdo it. The one time I will do that is if I'm mailing something out of the country. I've recently sent some 5 card requests to some hockey players in Canada. They're generous enough to send them back, but it costs more to send things internationally. We have to get an international forever stamp, and those are like a buck and a half a piece. You're buying 2 of them. You're looking at a $350 investment. So I usually, as opposed to sending multiple letters to the same guy, I'll just send 5. And if he wants to keep it in, have him throw them away. That's his prerogative, but it helps cut the cost down in that regard. So let's see. Unpredictable things. Oh yeah, that weird things do happen. Weather. Yeah, I have a story. One of my older. I think I recorded it yesterday or the day before. About my '68 Orioles team card got wet in a rainstorm. It had fallen out of the um, mailbox onto the ground. I found it and rescued it. And it's a miracle. It's like Phoenix coming back from the dead. But no one's fault. It just is wet out. These postal workers were awesome, and they would deliver in the worst possible conditions. So sometimes you're like, yeah, just keep all these in your bag for like an 80-degree day when the sun's out. Well, don't need them that bad to risk ruining the card. They do. That's their job. Um, some things get lost, destroyed envelopes. I've got a couple of those back where it looks like the thing got caught in the envelope feeder wrong, just got chewed up. They sent back chewed up cards and they put them in a little bag with like, sorry, sometimes shit happens, I guess. Um, Sometimes I'll get a return to sender. Uh, I had this on the last a return to sender from a guy that signs all the time, like this Ryan Sandberg I mentioned in my last video or two videos ago. And this ended up being I sent it to a bad address that he was at that is no longer at. But you'll go to a person's page and be like the last 10 people, except for one person, that's 10 people log off theirs returned. And the one person's you. You're like, what happened? What happened? Where is it? I mean, or the office, postal worker couldn't read your handwriting and it just sent it back. Like, I'm not going to try to track this guy down. It's chicken scratch. So it's just, and sometimes players will send back the envelope here and just not seal it. Like the self sealing time. Juan Gonzalez is very, very bad about this. The former two-time MVP slugger for the Indians and the Rangers back in the old days, Tigers. Uh, I guess he's signed. He's a great signer. Signs tons, uh, and was really, really a solid signer. But he will just send back cards and just not do the adhesive and just stick it stick it in the mail. Um, so yeah, some guys will send back different cards than what you sent them. Um, in that vein, sort of, Barry Sanders, the all-time great running back, is really, really bad about this, or maybe I should say his handlers, because he does not sign. Barry doesn't sign. Barry stamps, or very likely has one of his employees or relatives or kids or whomever stamp cards. As no one really wants that. So you never send anything of any value to Barry unless it's like a private signing. But anyway, not only does he stamp it, but he'll send you cards that you've never seen before. It's almost like he just puts all of his returns in a big, puts all of his requests in a big bowl and just pulls them out and sticks them in random envelopes. I don't know how he does it, but he's notorious for that. And that happens sometimes. One time I got a return back from Rick Roden, the former pitcher, and it was literally like 10 cards. I've always sent him like one or two. He stuck 10 cards, and they were all ballpoint pen scrawled as if he had taken all his requests from other people and just signed all of them and stuck them in one envelope and dropped it in the mail. That person was me, but it was very bizarre. It was so weird. No, my dog. Um, oh, yeah. Some people sign them on the back, which is so weird. Albert Hall was a Braves, a former Braves player. First time I ever sent him, I think it was a 89 score. I got it back. And it was signed on the back. It's so weird. I don't know why you do that. Bill Bazarowski actually sent me one that was signed on the back. And I think I had forgotten to include the money. he's he's a $10 signer. He's a Hall of Famer. That's fair price. I think I just forgot to put money in it, and he sends it back with it signed on the back, um, almost as if to say, you could have this on the front if you sent me the fee. So I did actually. I sent it back to him with the fee, so now it's on the front and the back. So if you see a 19, I think it was 1960s All Star card signed on the front of the back, it probably was mine at one point. Although, I'll have to be dead before you see it because I'm not giving that away until I croak. All right, let's see. So then, yeah, you log your returns when you get them back on your website. You can post your returns on your Facebook crew or Facebook. If you want, some people do that. I put them in binders almost immediately. I try to protect them because that ink, some of the cards, the ink will rub off. I've talked about this before. A lot of those 90s and up cards, some of the chrome cards, uh, the ink will either because of the card surface or because of the pen that was used. Um, but I like to log all my returns. Kind of when you log a return, the public can see it, and what that does is it indicates to other people that this person's biting, um, and that's always good to know. Like, I have more than once uh, seen someone sign that I got an RTS, or I never got a card back I sent years ago, that I can go back and be like, all right, well, this person I can get in I mean, Amory Moorhead was one that I got last week. I sent off. I had looked, and he was signing again. And I had looked, and I'd sent something to him like in 2001. I never got back. But since someone had been successful, I turned around and I sent him a card. I hope to get it back in the next 2 weeks or so. But always log your return for that reason. It's, if you don't do it, other people won't do it. It really is kind of a community that we all kind of help each other out by letting everyone else know what the latest is and the latest signers. Um, okay, here's what I would suggest that you do. If we're just going to default to baseball, but this goes for any sport. Um, find about 5 to 10 guys that played in the 80s during the junk wax era. If you don't know what the junk wax era is, stick around the hobby long if you will know. It's those cards from like 87 to 92. They printed thousands of them, thousands and thousands and thousands. You probably built a house from those cards if you were diligent enough. But that means that they're dirt cheap. And you can still find unopened packs of them. Some of these are really good condition. Um, and send some of those off. Those are no, I mean, if you lose a junk wax in the mail, you're out 2 stamps. If they refuse to sign it or they wrinkle it up, who cares? It's junk wax. Really, the only thing you're doing is spending time and whatever your stamps cost, and hopefully get it back, get stuff back. It's more really of kind of a just a beta test of the experience. I still remember the first day I got one back when I restarted this hobby, and it was like, holy crap, this does work. This does work. I was telling my wife, like, check this out. I can't remember who it was. I remember who the first person was. I know one of the first persons was a guy named John Hale. He was a former Mariners player from the late 70s. One of probably the first week. I don't know why I would have asked him, but I did. I must have had his card like right on top of the stack, and I sent it off. But go find some junk whackers. Here's some names for you. These guys uh, will sign, and they will sign usually quickly, with no hassle, no cost. Um, let's see, Jay Bell I mentioned earlier, Charlie Huff, the knuckle baller for the Rangers and the Dodgers, and then very late, very very into his career, the Marlins, was a fantastic signer, fantastic. You can find his stuff for pennies. A Cy Young Award winner, Ron Guidry, will sign one. Only send one. If you send two, he'll sign one. If you send three, he'll sign one. Don't waste your time. Don't risk your cards getting lost. Go find yourself a nice 1987 Ron Guidry, and send it on. And eventually you'll get it back from him. Rick Cerone, that catcher for the multiple teams. He was with the Yanks. He's with the Brewers. With the Jays. Again, sign one. He will sign one. I think he's got a condo in New Jersey on the shore. Another one, Carter, Hall of Famer, Goose Gossage, one, up in Colorado Springs. I've sent Goose a number of cards over the years. Uh, I've sent it with a fee, without a fee. It's always just one. It's just one. I've heard that he charges more for his rookie card. I but I've never experienced that. He just signs one. He might describe it Hall of Fame, HOF, but he signs one. So don't waste your breath. It's not sitting more. But if you got an old, 87, you know, Valier Cubs, uh, or he's with the Pods during those junk wax years, find a really inexpensive Goose Gossage card. Another guy that was really good is Rick Manning. He played for the Brewers, played for the Indians. Um, and I think I read that he, like Dennis Eckersley's wife, left him for Rick Manning when they were teammates on the Indians in the 70s. I don't know. I could have gotten that completely wrong, but for some reason, I think I read that. Art Howe, formerly of the Astros, and he was a manager for the A's during the Moneyball era. He's really great, really fantastic. Both the George brothers, Garth and Dane, they sound like alien names. Garth George and Dane George. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing the last name right. Both of those guys will sign multiple cards, and they're very fast. Bill Allman from uh, the Padres in the 70s. I think he played for the Brewers some. Bruce Benedict, former catcher for the Braves and former, if not still current, NBA ref. Was really good at returning cards. Davey Johnson, the manager for the Mets and player, for the Orioles and the Braves, among others, in the 60s and 70s. But go find that 87 manager card. He'll sign one. Same as Cerrone, same as Guidry, same as Goose. Davey will sign one. And it's a great signature, really big, very prominent signature. Uh, Hall of Famer Tony La Russa will sign. Weirdly, the address that he responds to is Fenway Park, I think. It's on Jersey Street in Boston. I don't know. They must have just have an arrangement for them to collect his mail there. I don't know what the deal is there, but Tony La Russa will sign either his player cards from he's got 72 player cards, he's got a 68 player card, or he's got a ton of manager player cards. Doug Rader of the Rangers, at least, I think he played for the Astros too. He will sign. Cy Young Award winner. No, wait, what's he Cy Young Award winner? Oh yeah, Jim Lonborg. I'm looking at two names here. Jim Lonborg is a Cy Young Award winner. You won't find any junk wax, but you'll find a lot of really inexpensive 70s cards when he was with the Phillies. Or go find that 68 or that 67 when he was with the Sox and winning awards. John Matlack of the Mets, of the Rangers, really great signer, great signature. Um, Larry Boa, uh, shortstop for the Phils, the Cubs, manager for the Pods. He's a coach for the Dodgers. Boa will sign uh, multiple cards. If you're into football, here's a good one. Archie Manning, father, patriarch of the Manning dynasty, will sign one. He used to sign multiple, but I think he's starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. But send him. Archie will sign his rookie card. He'll sign these recent Panini Prism cards. He'll sign his Houston Oiler cards. He sends them back. He's very, very diligent. And from the basketball, I'll throw out the name out of Hersey Hawkins. Is a fantastic signer. He's got a lot of great late 80s cards that will hold the signature really well. So there's some folks to start off with. Go write a letter, make it an appropriate letter. I always just kind of say, hey, how's the weather there? Make it a you know, if you go and you write every letter, you are my favorite player growing up of all time. Favorite player, Bruce Benedict of all time. He's not gonna believe you. He's gonna say, no, you were really a Dale Murphy fan or a Bob Warner fan, and I was on their team, but I wasn't your favorite player. I mean, the, maybe if you were able to write Tom Brady a letter, he'll believe you're Peyton Manning or Albert Pujols. But I mean, don't 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 try to butter the folks up, these guys up. Just say, hey, man, or I enjoyed watching you play. I was a big fan of the Reds, or I usually talk about the weather. Sure is hot here in Arkansas. How is it in Houston? Or I hope you stayed cool, or I hope you're doing well. When during COVID, I'd be like, I hope you're well and healthy and safe. Uh, and just as opposed to just like a two-liner. I heard you sign cards. Please sign these things by. Make it personal. It doesn't have to be personal, but these guys are opening a letter, and like I said, some of them don't get that many requests. A lot of these guys do get a lot of requests, but some of the people I'm going to feature don't get requests. They'll sign a note. Hey, I still remember. As a football player. I think he was a linebacker for the Lions years and years and years ago. I can't remember his name. I could look at my album, but I can't remember his name now. But thank you for remembering me. And I thought, how touching that is. You know, thank you for remembering me. You know, this is I can only assume, a really proud part of his life that he looks back on fondly. Like I was in the NFL, you know, back in the '60s, playing against Jim Brown and alongside Alex Karras and Joe Schmidt. You know, probably nice to be reminded of those days, and that there are still people out that would like to have a football card signed by him. So anyway, so yeah, do a good letter. Wait 10 days, 12 days, 1 month, 1 year. It'll come back. And then once you start knocking out all the sure things, you'll begin to know who the sure things are. The folks I just listed, and there's probably about 100 others that are just everyone goes to. Everyone goes to. Everyone's got Walt Terrell, and everyone's got Rick Honeycutt. Everyone's got uh, uh, Randy Jones, or you know, you'll find out who those people are, and then maybe you'll start dipping your toe in some of the pay players. You know, $10 Hall of Famers. That's about as you can't beat that. $10 Hall of Famer: Bill Mazeroski, Wade Boggs, Andre Dawson, Ryan Sandberg, Jim Palmer. $10 cash on the barrelhead. Um, I think also if they've won a major award, maybe not the Hall of Fame, but $5 for Sparky Lyle signing his signing award card. Hell yeah, man, $5, and that's not a deal breaker for an MVP or a Cy Young Award winner. Um, Again, like they're out there and they're not terribly expensive. You can spend a lot of money getting some of these guys, Reggie Jackson, Nolan Ryan, etc. But you don't need to get really a lot of enjoyment out of this hobby. So anyway, I've been rambling on for almost 40 minutes now. I hope I've covered some of the very, very basics. If not, feel free to leave a comment, or I think you can email me through this. I'm not really sure. Um, I'll check the comments. If you got any questions or want me to clarify anything, I'm happy to do so. Anyway, for right now, though, I think I'm done talking for the evening. I've made a number of videos, and this is the last one for today. I hope you're all well. Good luck on your returns. Good luck jumping into the hobby. It's really great. I mean, everyone's. I see so many comments on Facebook on some of my groups like, how do I get rid of my 1,000 junk waxes? And people like burn it for fuel or donate it to Children's Hospital. You know the best way to get rid of all these junk wax? Ben, get them signed. Get them signed. Make them pieces of your collection. Make them not necessarily valuable money wise, but certainly sentimental value. And you put time and effort into getting these signed and making them part of your collection. They mean something. They will mean something to you. I guarantee it. You'd be like, I could sign it. I could sell this X card from, I don't know, Juan Marichal, but Juan Marichal sent me a signed card. I paid him money for it, but we had a little moment there, and that's your Juan Marichal card. So anyway, just my thoughts. Everyone have a great evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I will talk to you later. Bye.